Now the Duke Law, he's been raging about something out here, and it's got something to do with some hand tools. I love a good tool in my hands.
This should come with duct tape and dynamite, because as soon as you use it, that's what you're going to want to strap on and just go into the store that you bought it from and teach them a good lesson.
Pretty sure you can't say that anymore.
This one failed on me first. I don't know what. Basically, it just sort of got jammed into one spot, and now it's just locked in permanent, left and right. This one I was using yesterday, and I was cranking along, and then the thing would change directions. I wouldn't touch this at all. It would just all of a sudden change directions. And then I go and I touch this, and then it's fallen off into some neither region between gears or something. And anyway.
Full disclosure, the Duke Law is not licensed to operate these tools. Didn't even last till the black phosphate wore off of the drive mechanism, which is a real kick in the can on account of Stanley tools. Everybody, grandpa, got the Stanley Challenger wrenches and that old ratchet and so forth. They'll last forever, son of a diddling thing. This thing, just for your edification, on the countenance, has not been hammered, abused, otherwise sniped. Just basically used for inserting and removing a very limited number of fasteners. Now, I absolutely hate this black coating with the laser etching on the tools because it wears out so quick, then you can't see what size your socket is. As you saw there, we had a little spring in action. She come apart like a stuffed animal from the county fair. Nothing, no big chunks of nothing. I'm thinking what must have happened was because these are real fine teeth, the alignment is critical. So if you have small little fasteners and a not so skookum plate, now that looks reasonably skookum, it gets out of alignment and it dickers with the entire works. Now you would think that 1, 2, 3, 4, there's so many parts, so few parts, would be relatively simple to get right. And it is. But you gotta be willing to put enough meat in there to make it so. I think the problem with this is there's just plumb not enough meat. Have a little stroll around the periphery. No busted teeth. I mean, it hasn't even worn off the phosphate coating off the bearing surfaces. The thing is brand spanking. I think that there makes the most sense. Never seen a kind of plate, and that is a punched steel plate pawl. Or no, that's the detent for the pawl. And then that would goes in like so. And we put that in. So that's the way that works. And you flip that over. So that's somehow, in order for this to get way up here, that would need to get cocked. That would need to get cocked and jammed down in below. Let's see if we can make that happen. Never good when a ratchet, you're just threading something in and a ratchet changes position on you. Now you might bump it with your thumb, but you don't want the detent so weak that the merest whiff of a fart and it changes direction on you. Now how that would get jammed up the wrong direction. Now something fucky with that one. No physical damage to any of the mechanism contained therein, which points to a failure in design. And if I had to guess, I would say this free-floating selector mechanism is likely at fault. There, in some positions, there's got to be enough room where you can jam that detent selector down into the casement. The fact that it was way up here means that detent selector has to be in here somewhere. So it can move back far enough to do that and wiggle enough room to do that. Now let's look at this guy. This one will not change direction. She's bound right up there. So let's be a little more carefuling on the disassembly, and then we will try and suss out what particular conjunction in the malfunction is happening. My kingdom for a T8. These fasteners got some thread locking on them. That's good, so that they don't loosen off, because if they loosen off and this plate is allowed to move axially, that can cock the whole works over, and now the teeth of the pawl and the ratchet drive don't align and it skips. So let's see. Let's pull maybe the platelet off if we can, separate of everything else. Let's see what is going on there. Aha! Laid bare before us. No fucking good at all. So they're getting to the point now where you don't even need to go in and spend your money. You can just go and throw it directly out into the garbage.
The best way to use this is just to buy it and just toss it in the garbage. I'm actually gonna dig the fucking receipt out and fucking bring this back, because
he's not gonna dig the receipt out.
Your wife buys it for you, put it on a shelf, it sits on a shelf, and no one's the wiser. But I mean, as soon as you pick it up to try to use it, just fucking throw the fucking...
Unbelievable, man. Hey, you heading out to get that Earl, the Fram filter and 200 liters of diesel? Swing by the Cambodian Tire. I hear they got a sale on Stanley tool sets.
Yeah, I'll buy every set they got. At this rate.